It was just past 2:30 a.m. on Monday, July 8, 2025, in the quiet coastal city of New Bedford, Massachusetts. The streets were still, most shops long closed. The only sound of faint crack echoing through a back alley behind a collectibles store called First Edition Collectibles. Security footage would later show it clearly. A single hooded figure, dressed in black, gloves on, carrying a duffel bag. No hesitation. He moves to the rear entrance, checks the surroundings, and then smashes the back door. But this isn't a panicked smash and grab. This was a surgical strike. Inside the store is a treasure trove, shelves lined with Funko Pops, sports cards, Yu-Gi-Oh binders, plushies, and sealed Pokémon booster packs. But the thief ignores most of it. He moves quickly, straight to the glass display, cases housing some of the rarest cards in the game. In less than 5 minutes, he's emptied out thousands of dollars worth of graded Pokémon cards. The kind sealed in protective slabs from PSA and BGS, complete with unique serial numbers. He grabs a BGS 8.5 Skyridge Crystal Charizard, one of the rarest Charizard cards in existence. A BGS 7.5 First Edition Shadowless Blastoise, a grail from 1999. And a sealed Neo Revelation booster box with over $30,000 on its own. He doesn't touch the register, doesn't steal electronics, doesn't even bother with cash. He knew exactly what to take. By the time local police arrive after the silent alarm triggers, the thief is long gone. No broken glass out front, no mess, no forced entry from the main doors. Just the back entrance, shattered and wide open. Inside, over $113,000 in Pokémon collectibles are gone. The city wakes up to news of one of the most targeted and valuable card heists in recent years. And as the shop owner stands there in disbelief, staring at the empty shelves, one question cuts deeper than the theft itself. How did they know exactly what to take? When news broke that over $113,000 worth of rare Pokémon cards had been stolen from First Edition Collectibles in Massachusetts, it wasn't just another robbery story. It was a direct hit to the heart of one of the most passionate collector communities in the world. So what made this heist so precise? Because the thief didn't just steal Pokémon cards. He stole legends, and he knew exactly what he was doing. Among the stolen items were some of the rarest and most valuable cards to ever come out of franchise. A BGS 8.5 Skyridge Crystal Charizard. Estimated value $20,000 to $25,000. Released in 2003, this version of Charizard came from a final English set printed by Wizards of the Coast. It's not just rare, it's iconic, with shimmering crystal artwork that collectors hunt for. A BGS 7.5 First Edition Shadowless Blastoise, from the original 1999 release of Pokémon in the US. It's First Edition, it's shadowless, and it's graded a triple threat, worth well over $10,000 on its own. A sealed Neo Revelation booster box. Price tag, $30,000 and climbing. Vintage boxes like this are prized not only for their scarcity, but the potential of pulling ultra-rare cards inside. Most of these boxes haven't been seen sealed in decades. Several other sealed booster boxes from the early 2000s. EX Dragon Frontiers, EX Deoxys, EX Team Rocket Returns. All wildly valuable to hardcore collectors. Every item stolen was either graded by PSA or BGS or factory sealed. That means they all carry unique serial numbers that are publicly traceable. So if any of them appear on platforms like eBay, Golden, or whatnot, they can be flagged. And that's exactly what the store owner did. Within 24 hours of the break-in, the owner of First Edition Collectibles took to Instagram and Facebook, posting high-res photos of every stolen slab, complete with serial numbers, grades, and descriptions. He didn't just post them as a warning. He posted them as bait, a message to the thief, and anyone thinking of buying. You sell these, we'll find you. That's when the community stepped in. Fans, sellers, shop owners, and private collectors from all over the country shared the post. Some offered rewards. Others began scanning online marketplaces every hour. For a moment, it felt less like a theft and more like a Pokémon manhunt. But behind all the momentum, the weight of the loss still hit hard. These weren't just cards. They were investments. They were part of the shop owner's life work. And in the world of high-end collectibles, these pieces don't just vanish. They leave a trail if you know where to look. The day after the heist at First Edition Collectibles, the store didn't just look broken, it felt broken. The back door shattered, glass in the display cases swept into piles. Empty stands where once sat irreplaceable treasures, and a shop owner staring at the wreckage of a dream built over a decade. But this wasn't just about money. In a video posted from the store's Instagram page, the owner, visibly shaken but composed, shared the story behind the shop. He didn't open it to make millions. He opened it to share his passion with the community, to give kids and adults a place to relive childhood memories, trade cards, and connect over something pure. And now, in just minutes, $113,650 worth of that had been taken away. He said, these weren't just products. These were memories, history, and stories. Gone. But whoever did this, they didn't steal our spirit. And they didn't steal our community. And he was right, because within hours, something rare happened. The community didn't just sympathize. They mobilized. Other store owners in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New York, even as far as California, reposted the stolen card list. Speech balloon high-end collectors offered to cross-reference serial numbers with known databases and private inventories. Some YouTubers and influencers in the Pokémon TCG space made videos titled, "Help Find These Stolen Cards," and "Pokémon Heist." Thief targeted these. The story wasn't fading. It was gaining momentum. Meanwhile, the shop closed its doors, not permanently, but to regroup and rebuild. The owner said he'd be upgrading the security system, adding motion detectors, bulletproof glass for display cases, and a new reinforced back door. But most of all, he was focusing on mental recovery. "It's hard walking in here and not seeing those cards," he posted. They were more than cardboard. They were memories, childhoods, milestones. But thanks to all of you, I'm not alone in this fight. Fans flooded the shop's DMs and comments with support. Some even donated sealed packs, slabs, and booster boxes from their own collections, just to help him get back on his feet. This wasn't just about justice anymore. It was about community. It was about proving that in a world where some people steal, others stand up and fight back, together. Days after the midnight heist at First Edition Collectibles in New Bedford, police turned their focus to surveillance footage, hoping it held the key to the entire mystery. And it did, sort of. From a grainy security camera mounted near the back entrance, investigators saw a figure approach just before 2:30 a.m. They were dressed head to toe in black, with a hoodie, gloves, and a mask. Within seconds, the thief forced entry, shattering the back door's window panel, reaching in, unlocking the bolt, and slipping inside. No hesitation, no fumbling. Once inside, the thief moved fast and with precision, like someone who had studied the layout in advance. They bypassed common collectibles, low-value binders, and even untouched cash from the front register. They went directly to display cases that held graded slabs and vintage sealed boxes, the exact items they'd later escape with. What stood out to detectives wasn't what they did, but what they didn't do. They didn't linger. They didn't make noise. They didn't take anything unnecessary. This wasn't a petty thief. This was planned, clean, and highly targeted. And that's when police started asking the real questions. Did the thief case the store beforehand? Did they pose as a customer earlier to learn the layout? Could it have been someone from inside the collector community? Someone who understood grading, rarity, and resale value? Investigators began reviewing footage from nearby businesses, hoping to catch the thief's car or route. They also worked with law enforcement in neighboring states, circulating the stolen item list to pawn shops, card stores, and online marketplaces. But there was a problem. Nothing showed up. None of the cards had appeared online. Not on eBay. Not on Whatnot. Not in Discord trading groups. No serial numbers were pinged in PSA or BGS resale databases. It was like the cards had vanished. Police considered another possibility. The thief might be holding on to the items, waiting for media buzz to die down before trying to resell, possibly overseas, where tracking is harder, or worse. They were selling the cards privately to wealthy collectors off the grid, where authentication isn't questioned and serial numbers aren't traced. And then came a chilling theory from an investigator familiar with theft from other collectible shops. This kind of clean operation, it doesn't happen out of nowhere. This might not be their first time. Could this thief be part of a larger ring? A black market network targeting high-value collectibles across the country? If so, the break-in at First Edition Collectibles may have been just one stop in a much bigger game. The heist at First Edition Collectibles wasn't just a tragedy for one store. It was a symptom of something bigger, because behind the nostalgia and childhood memories of Pokémon, there's a darker side, a side where cards sell for six figures, where sealed boxes become investments, and where thieves now treat collectibles like bank vaults. You see, in the last 5 years, the Pokémon market exploded. During the pandemic, prices for vintage cards skyrocketed. A first edition base set Charizard sold for over $400,000. YouTubers, celebrities, even hedge funds began buying and flipping Pokémon cards like real estate. And where big money goes, crime follows. This wasn't the first time Pokémon cards had been targeted. In 2021, a man in Georgia stole $57,000 worth of Pokémon and sports cards from a gaming store. In Tokyo, a group of thieves rappelled into a trading card shop and made off with hundreds of high-value cards. In 2023, a California man broke into 3 different TCG shops in 1 week, stealing cards, cash, and even customer consignments. What made the new Bedford heist so disturbing wasn't just the amount stolen, it was the method. The thief didn't rush. They didn't panic. They were selective, quiet, and professional. And that told investigators one thing. This wasn't someone who just wanted to sell a Charizard on Craigslist. This was someone connected. Someone with access to private buyers, underground auctions, or overseas dealers willing to buy no questions asked. There's an entire shadow network where stolen slabs can be laundered. It's as simple as removing them from the case, selling them raw, or reslabbing them in international grading companies with no record of their past. And if even one of the stolen cards surfaces at a high-end auction or international marketplace, it might be too late. Because once these cards leave the U.S., they're almost impossible to trace. Meanwhile, back in Massachusetts, the owner of First Edition Collectibles is still rebuilding, emotionally and financially. He's resecuring the shop, reconnecting with customers, and staying active in collector forums, hoping, just hoping, that one of those cards turns up. But as the value of trading cards continues to rise, so does the risk. And law enforcement is beginning to realize this was never just about Pokémon. This was about organized theft, high-value assets, and a growing black market that spans beyond borders.